I had my own encounter with Jeffrey Epstein, and before I give you this little vignette, very important that I tell you something all of my friends know. I have absolutely no radar on freaks, on weird people. I'm a terrible judge of character. I mean, when I first meet someone, I'm not allowed to invite anyone from a book signing to have drinks with us because I've done it so many times and we end up as like some bipolar lunatic. So anyone who knows me will tell you, cannot judge people. So, to make a long story short, pouring rain, day before 9/11, I'm leaving for speeches. I can't get home. My editor had died. Book was canceled. You probably heard me talk about that. Turned out to be the #1 book all summer. Anyway, I'm standing outside the funeral home. After I had a column, after I had speeches, pouring rain, traffic all over, no cab. So this stretch limo pulls up, and a guy leans out and says, "Hey, knows me by name, says who he is, names someone that we know in common," which, by the way, wouldn't be that great a recommendation. She hangs around some sleazy guys. But I think to myself, okay, I just need to go 40 blocks to the Upper East Side. Was it even 40? It was like 20. This car can't move. It's going 5 miles per hour. I get in the car, Jeffrey Epstein. We go up past his place. You've seen it on all the TV shows. It takes up like a city block. He says, "Oh, I live here." I said, "You do not." So he invites me in for tea. I walk in, see the place. I'm asking him what he does for a living, something that it never really occurred to the press to ask him. It's obvious he's a total BSer, and I just get a really bad vibe from him. Again, can't judge people. But the fact that he has no explanation for what he does for a living, has no books in this place. It's like a museum. So his car takes me to my place, or as he thinks to my place. I got such a bad feeling. And I didn't live like across the street or something. It was another 5-6 blocks. I had the car drop me at a place that wasn't mine, and I walked another 2 blocks. And for the next few years, I kept having people like Alan Dershowitz email me and say, "Jeffrey Epstein wants to get in touch with you." So he'd find people in the TV world to try to email me. That's how creepy he is.
Oh, my God.
That someone with no judgment thought, something weird here.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is what I mean. Nobody wants to ask, how did he get his freaking money? And I'm like, this is like the big hole. They did a whole series on Netflix. I was so angry about this like documentary series on Netflix about Jeffrey Epstein. And it was as if, the biggest thing about this guy is that he had enough money to buy off people and to live this lifestyle, but no one wants to ask how he got the money.
Right. Vicki Ward has actually written a lot of great stuff about that, and I will say she's a Vanity Fair writer. And I will say, to her credit, she too had the story. Again, sick of hearing about the Miami Herald breaking stuff that anyone paying attention already knew. Vicki Ward had it. I forget what year it was. Obviously,
2000, I think. It was like around 2000 or 2001. It was like way early.
Yes, and she and I are apparently the only people who've ever met this guy and thought, "What? Where does your money come from?" So she pursues it, but while pursuing the money angle, which Graydon Carter makes her back off, the main thing she finds is 2 girls who have been molested by Jeffrey Epstein, and Graydon Carter, editor of the Vanity Fair, killed it. Wouldn't let her write it.
Yep.
Wow. Yep. It's like the Weinstein case all over again.
Yeah.
Even more creepy, though. Even more creepy. I mean, it's... Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing that also, let's just be honest here. Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who was this notorious media mogul, he died under extremely strange circumstances.
Yes,
you'll recall.
Oh,
yeah. The guy died on his yacht.
Suicide. Yeah, he went out on his boat. In fact, I believe it was called the Ghislaine. He had just ripped off. He ran all these newspapers, and he had ripped off the pensions of all of his workers. I mean, it's like hearing about Epstein and he's so wealthy, and I mean, I don't worship wealth, but someone who makes his own money, as long as they're not hedge fund managers, they've done something. They're on the ball somehow. But no. In the case of Maxwell, he just ripped off the pensions of his workers. In the case of Epstein, he was being paid by someone, probably a foreign power.
Yeah, well, there was the speculation also about Maxwell's father that he was involved with the Foreign Intelligence Service as well. And his death was he died. He apparently it was deemed a drowning or an accidental drowning or something. He fell off of his yacht at 4 a.m. morning, and he was stark naked. So he was found floating in the Mediterranean or whatever, stark naked, after accidentally falling off the deck of his yacht at 4 a.m.
It's very common.
No clothes on it, no evidence found. Right. His body was found in the water. As it happens all the time, people just accidentally fall over and stark naked into the water. I mean, come on.
Well, also a possible different explanation for at least a good portion of the money. I don't think this accounts for all of it, though. Is that they clawed back a lot of that money that Maxwell had stolen from his employees' pensions. But I believe, this is off the top of my head, I looked it up once, I believe they could never get, 200 million, 300 million, and Ghislaine was his favorite child. So it's possible that he came up with some way to leave it to Ghislaine, and she started hanging around Jeffrey so they would act like he was, this wizard investor with no clients, and that's where the money was coming from. So possibly it was hers, the ill-gotten goods that were never retrieved from her father.
Well, that would explain it. I mean, I just want to know, if that's the explanation, let's hear it, man. And, they were just in the freaky crap.
What was Ghislaine doing with her money? Like, what was she doing? I mean, she's investing it in the ocean? I mean, what is she doing with her money?
No, that was clearly a front to make it's like a lot of rich women, to make it look like they're doing something. She was going to parties. I mean, the theory of that is, at least to explain some of Epstein's lifestyle. I don't think 200 million accounts for the lifestyle he had. I mean, he has those islands, the buildings, the Palm Beach place, this mansion, the most expensive single-family home in New York City. And, I mean, it's stunning that any one person owns that. And the private planes all over. There's a place in Paris and here and there. 200 million, you need more than that. Though 200 million is off the top of my head. And we're not totally sure she got it. It's also worth mentioning, we've had this whole discussion without saying that Ghislaine did not merely procure the underage girls; she participated in the molestations, according to them.
Yeah, she was part of it. She was raping these girls too.
These people are satanic.
Yeah, no, they are. They totally are.
Totally.
They're demonic in every way. You know what? And is it okay if we hold you over the break? Because we want to ask you some political stuff, like some of the latest gossip about the campaign and all that. Would you mind holding over the break?
I will, mostly because I want to talk about the millionaire plumber with John.
You're listening to
what we're talking about now. I haven't been able to stop laughing about that.
Okay, that is the best teaser for the next segment ever. You're listening to Breitbart News Tonight with John Pinder, Rebecca Manser, and Ann Coulter. Stay with us.